Hello YouTube! Today's episode will be in English because this is going to be a video how to use my rocket hookbill fit for the T1 Dark Abyss, and we are going through the difficult rooms or more challenging rooms. I will also show the stats of the enemies, the resistances, so that you can look them up afterwards. You can see on the left hand side, on the top left side, description of the room, the danger level, which in this case for the 3 Damaviks is 1 out of 10. The ammo type you should use, Nova rockets in this case, because they have a weakness against explosive damage. The precision script should be used because they are quite fast, and it's better to use the precision script. They will be anyway in the 10 kilometer range most of the time, so all the time basically. Now we're in a room with the Karen, the battleship, which tanks a lot of damage, so you basically want to use the Scourge Javelin Rocket for the spare fisher or whatever additional enemy there is, and then close the distance to the Karen, go to the 7 kilometers orbit or 5 kilometers. It will usually not hit you, it doesn't really matter. And while you orbit the battleship, you can kill the spearfisher in this case with the javelin Scourge rockets. You can see here the resistances. This is all the same for all the damage types, so you can use the Scourge rocket or javelin in this case, because the hookbill has a 25% damage increase for the Scourge ammo type. And once the spearfisher is killed, you can orbit the Tyrannus even closer and switch to the Scourge Rage Rockets. And yeah, you can leave the precision script. This is a very big ship, you won't miss it. Again, this will be in a fast motion now until the end, because it takes a lot of time. You can see around 5 minutes probably. The next room with a danger level of 3 out of 10. At least this is what I experienced. It's pretty easy still. You can use the Nova Rage Rockets throughout, since the Damaviks are weak to the explosive damage. And I basically just fly to the extraction nodes, the caches, while killing the Damaviks. Once they are gone, the drones also stop moving, so this is pretty easy as well. Just have to be sure that you use the precision script again, and kite them within 10 kilometer range, but this is no problem because they are very fast and they will just follow you in the 7 to 8 kilometers usually. You can see here sometimes you don't hit them because they are just too fast, and that's why it's better to fly in a straight line instead of orbiting. Next room is a Lancer and 2 Lucid type enemies, which I consider a little bit more dangerous, at least. If you don't do it right, you should use the Scourge Javelin rockets and stay at a distance at around 15 to 20 kilometers. But this is usually guaranteed when you just fly to the caches and loot. And sometimes you get closer where you will get a little bit of damage, but this is not really a problem. So you can just loot while you kill the, or fly to the caches, and while you kill the lucid enemies, and then in the end you can kill the lancer with the same ammo type. Basically, you don't have to switch. The Sparkneedles, still the same danger level of 4. You want to use the Mjolnir, or whatever they are called, rockets, rage rockets. The drones will come close to you anyway. You can still do the same thing than you did in the other room with the lucid enemies and the lancer. You can just go for the loot, for the caches, and always target the closest enemy with Mjolnir Rage Rockets, and they will just be picked up one by one and won't do any, or at least only a little bit of damage. For example, when you come closer to or when you have to pick up the loot and so on, they will come close and they will do a little bit of damage, but it doesn't really matter. It's worth looting at the same time instead of focusing on the fight or something like that. Next room, Skybreakers. They can be the Skybreaker Disparu troops or Skybreaker attack group, whatever. But they have to be handled all in the same way. You basically want to have your orbit set up to 21 kilometer, and the keypad range also at 21 kilometers. And then you can spam it if you need to. For example, now you should click it several times just to get the distance. We're using the Mjolnir Javelin Rocket again, because the shield is the only thing which really regenerates fast, so you just stick to it, to the Mjolnir Javelin. A range script, of course, and then orbit the enemy at around 20-21 kilometers. So that's why I rated them 5 out of 10. It's not very difficult, but it's problematic if you do it the wrong way, if you go close. Or what I try to do now, I will orbit it close just to demonstrate how much damage you will get. And yeah, it's already 20%, 25, 30% of the shield is gone already. Only against one of the enemies, so if you just fly into them, then it's probably not a good idea to start like that. So you can keep one at range, orbit the other one. If it's 3, then just orbit 2 of them and then probably finish the last one at close orbit. The Lucid Watchman is the best thing is you kill the additional enemy first, like I did. But if you cannot, you probably have to focus the Watchman if they always stick together. And there is the same thing, you want to use the Scourge Javelin Rocket, and here it's more important probably to stay at range, although you cannot really escape the shots. I mean, it will always hit you a little bit. That's why I also rated it higher than the Skybreakers, because depending on the situation, for example, if you get into bad weather or so, then the Lucid Watchman can do quite a bit of damage, especially if you're not prepared for it, or if you just fly into it and think, yeah, this is just a normal Lucid enemy, then they can easily kill you also. As you can see, I'm taking quite a bit of damage here. It's already down to 50% shield. It's probably also not the best idea to fly in a straight line, but better to orbit the enemy. Again, for demonstration purposes, I also orbited him here at close range, just to see if it's a big difference, and probably not so bad to orbit him at close range, but you also have the problem that you can never escape if things go wrong. Here the Tessera, one of the more dangerous enemies, the rating of 7 out of 10. Problem here is if you get too close and if it hits you, then you really have a problem, because the damage is quite high. So, or if you happen to be stuck somewhere by accident or whatever, and you really are in the, let's say, 10-kilometer range of the Tessera, then things get really spicy. So here it is not a problem. It just flew by or whatever. It didn't really recognize me or whatever happened. But we will see in a second that it is problematic to stay at this 10-kilometer range. Here you can see just an unlucky shot and it's already 1000 damage. The next one is the Kikimora plus Damavik room. Famous room, I would think. A lot of people already died to the Kikimora. So what you want to do is orbit it early at around 30 kilometer. Anyway, it will be too fast and fly close to you, but you if you have set up your orbit range correctly, then you can just spam it until you reach the 21-kilometer orbit. What I missed here, as it looks like, so I have to set it to 21 quickly, and that's why I already got a lot of damage. Not too much, because it's not, the shots itself are not that high damage, but if you stay too close for a longer time, then this will add up and you really get in trouble. So the best thing is again to stay at the 21 kilometers and just use the Nova Javelin rocket as it is displayed on the left side. You can also then in the end already go to the extraction nodes and so on, but I would not recommend to directly fly to the nodes. 3 devoted hunters, you're not really allowed to make a lot of mistakes in that room, so you shouldn't get too close for the most part. That's why again you have to set the orbit to 30 kilometers first, and then set up your orbit to 21 kilometers, and whenever you need to just spam it a little bit and then stay at that range. It's not really difficult, but you can get into trouble, of course, if you happen to come to the limits, to the borders of the room. In this case, it doesn't really happen. One time I'm too close, and you can see already the shield is half gone in several seconds. So yeah, you have to be careful. But when one of the hunters is gone, you can also already start to loot. The Cynabal, 9 out of 10. It can happen that it just kills you. You have to go close orbit the Cynabal, like 5 kilometers, 2.5 kilometers, whatever, as close as possible. Then use the precision script, the Scourge Rage Rockets, and just look at your capacitor. If it's getting too close, too low, then probably also disable the Afterburner and things like that. I forgot to activate the precision script, which is probably not a problem, but yeah, so I also deactivated it again because it's really not worth it to spend energy on the script in that case. So in this case it really works great. I mean, I don't get a lot of damage, but it can happen that the Cynabal will just hit you with a lot of damage. So a pretty easy fight in that case, but it can really be problematic. And the other one, the Dramiel or whatever additional enemy there is not too much of a problem. Last enemy, the most difficult, or not really difficult one, but the most problematic one, because you cannot really do anything against it, is the Devoted Knight. You just have to orbit it in a 21 kilometer distance and hope that it won't wrecking shot you two times in a row or something like that. You can see here, one hit is already 800 damage or whatever, a lot of damage, and it also takes a long time to kill it. You want to use the Mjolnir and Scourge Javelin rockets, and now we can see that connection was lost in my last fight. Thank you for watching the tutorial and see you soon.